Noi Savayantanam, Namo Noi Savayantanam, Namo Noi Savayiriyam, Namo Noi Savajayanam, Namo Noi Savatrikalavati Savanam, Omkaramindhu Sanyamtanjam Jayanti Yogina, Kamadam Mokshadam Jai Omkaraya Namo Namo, Manganam Bhagavanayo, Manganam Uttamadi, Mangalam Kunkundari, Ujendram Bosamangalam Namasana Vistara. Swanu Bhutya Jathasti Tik Swadhay Bhavaya Sarvaha Vibhava Yusni Data
Om Namo Loya Sarvatrikavarti Arantanam. Om Namo Loya Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loya Sarvatrikavarti Aryanam. Om Namo Loya Sarvatrikavarti Ujjayanam. Om Namo Loya Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Eso Panchanamukaro Sarva Pava Panasam Manglalancha Savesing Paramam Hoy Manglam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam Nityan Dayanti Yoginam Kamadam Moksham Cheva Omkaraya Namo Nama Nama Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chitsabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Agnanatimirandanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurue Nama Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayavanta Varto Omkaranada Jinano Jayavanta Varto Jinana Samo Sarana Sau Jayavanta Varto Netirthachara Jagama Jayavanta Varto Namo Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangaryotene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Devino Jina Kunda Dvani Apya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupam Gati Pamela Sarve Sridhane Mandika Hum Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Prabhrata Ari Eka Sudha Sada Arupi Jnana Darsanamaya Khari Kanyanyate Maru Jari Paramanu Matra Nathi Ari Jamanetra Tema Jignana Nati Karaka Nati Vedaka Ari Jani Jakarmo Daya Nirajara Bandate Majamokshane Om Namah Siddhivyo, Om Namah Siddhivyo, Om Suddhatmane Namah. So, we are talking about stanza number 4. In what stanza number 4? Basically, what does it say from stanza number 1 onwards? If we talk about it, the very first stanza, Kunkun Swami, 2000 years back, he says that he establishes liberated soul in the heart. That means he says that the I and liberated soul are one entity only. That means even though I am with the body and everything, and liberated souls are free souls, but that is my aim. So indirectly he tells that I am going to make myself into everybody as a liberated soul. Gurudev Kanji Swami, when he got this Samaysar on his hand, then he said, my God, this is the scripture which is going to help me to get liberated. That means he said that I'm really impressed, and this is the core philosophy, which if I understand it correctly, then I'll obtain liberation. So this is what the first stanza says. As soon as he finishes first stanza, right away he hits very hard on the next stanza, second stanza, and says there are two types of soul, the transmigratory soul and transmigrated soul who are having attention focused on outside material thing constantly. And there are souls who have visualized their inner self. So he distinguishes two different types of souls right away in the second stanza. And he says, I don't have any relationship. I have to cut down those kind of things in which I have attention drawn to the outside material things. So ultimately, he suggests that we all have to look within. When we look within, then we experience the true nature of the soul, and that is called right faith, Samyak Darshan. So right away in second stanza, he defines what is the nature of Samyak Darshan, which ultimately leads to purification and liberation. Then third stanza, he says that, I get involved with the outside material thing, and that is not the right thing for me. I have to try to go within. So that's the third stanza. And in fourth stanza, he said that why do I go and get engrossed in the material things on the outside world? That is what we are discussing, that he gives different reasons, and all those things that we are discussing for last three to 4 weeks, that why am I drawn to the material objects? Why my attention gets drawn to the outside material things? And he describes those things. And also in this one, he very intelligently puts the 5 paravartan, 5 cycle of time, in the sense cycle of matter, cycle of space, cycle of thought process, cycle of incarnation, those kind of 5 things that he's talking about. And we talked 4 things last time. We'll just quickly summarize those things, and then we come to the 5th one, because I know Preeti told me to go a little bit more detail on the 5th one. So we'll try to go that one. So let's see, where is this one? Kal Paravartan. Okay, so first one is cycle of a matter, means Dravya Paravartan. Means what happens that at a given time, when my soul takes a birth, whatever place, let's make that one as a point A. And at that time, I had certain inclination within me, and those inclination had certain intensity of those inclinations also were there. For example, at that time of my birth, maybe I was having anger, and that anger was extremely intense, or it was extremely mild. So whatever that inclination was there, that particular inclination of the soul, and at the same time, certain material karma gets attracted to the soul. So 2 events. One is an inclination of a soul's status at the time. And second thing, amount of karma particle getting attracted to the soul. So 2 things, these 2 things, exactly same thing happening again in the future. For example, let's say I was a snake, I was born as a snake, and I was born with anger, and certain material karma got attracted to me. And after that life of that snake, maybe I went to hell, I went to heaven, I became human, I became plant and animals, whatever transmigratory things I went through. And finally, again, when I come with the exact same situation, which will take kind of that you have thrown precious diamond into the ocean. And now you keep on looking, and finally you get that one in your hand. So this is like Titanic. This is like a Titanic, that that diamond was thrown out, and finally that diamond is found. But it will take extreme amount of a time, and that is called cycle of matter. So how many cycle of matter? No, number one, how many time cycle pass by in this cycle of matter? Means infinite time cycle pass by. Each time cycle is 20 crodi sagropam years. Means 20 raised to 14. That many sagropam years. One sagropam means it's described in the literature, but for our sake, it is infinite number of years. So in each time cycle, that 2 times 24 sets of Tirthankara occurs. So for example, our time cycle, Mahavir and Rishabdev to Mahavir, 24 Tirthankara occur. This kind of sets of 24 Tirthankara, infinite amount of those Tirthankaras will occur in this cycle of matter. So again, you can imagine it's a huge time. Thereafter comes, next one comes, let me just put this one as slideshow. Next one comes karma, Kshetra Paravartan. Kshetra Paravartan means this is a cycle of area in which if the whole universe, if the time permits, I may show some slide what this universe means. But if time doesn't permit, let's imagine that this universe includes hell, heaven, human living area, and the space that we see above us. For example, the sun system and stars, and also Milky Ways. Milky Way is having an infinite amount of sun system. So all those things are included in this area. Now, it's called cosmic area. Now, if we divide that cosmic area into minutest part that we cannot divide again further, that teeny tiny area when we take it, and let's take one area and I was born in that area. After that will call that number or area number 1. Then I die and I go to hell, heaven, another human, or I become animal, plant, whatever. And then again by wandering again, when I come to the next area, number 2, that's a second area. Then again I go on wandering, and then when I come back to the third, that's a third. In this way, if I finish all this area in succession, then it becomes one area, one cycle of space. So this is the infinite number of years passes by, infinite number of 24 sets of Tirthankara pass by, and since then I am in existence. That's what it means to say. Then comes time of cycle, Kal Paravartan. Kal Paravartan means if I take the ascending time cycle and descending time cycle. Ascending means there is a progressive happiness occurring. Extreme unhappiness, mild unhappiness, some unhappiness, some happiness, milder happiness, moderate happiness, and intense happiness. So there are 6 parts of one ascending time cycle. And then there'll be descending time cycle, extreme happiness, medium happiness, mild happiness, and milder form of unhappiness, moderate unhappiness, and extreme unhappiness. So descending time cycle and ascending time cycle. In each ascending or descending cycle, that 24 sets of Tirthankara takes birth. So we are right now passing through the descending time cycle, means progressively there is unhappiness occurring, progressively misery occurs, and we are in the fifth part of the time cycle, moderate amount of misery, and the sixth part will come, which will be intense amount of misery will be seen. The human being will be kind of midgets, maybe 1.5 feet tall, and shorter lifespan, plus right now in this time, on this universe, right now in this world, if somebody eats meat, he doesn't think of eating human being. Occasional reports are there, but in general, in the sixth part, people will be eating people like that. So that kind of extreme unhappy situation will occur. This time cycle, this fifth part we are in, that lasts for 21,000 years. since Mahaviswami is nirvana, and 2,500 years passed by, so 21,500 years are remaining, something like that. No, 18,000 whatever remaining. Now sixth period is also going to be 21,000, and then again ascending cycle will start. So in this whole ascending descending time cycle is 20 raised to 14 Sagropam years. We talked about it. Sagropam years means that if you take a 4-mile width, long and deep ditch and fill with the newly born sheep's hair, which is extremely silky, and cut into pieces that no other piece can be made, and fill it up so much that king's chariot passing, it will not get depressed. With this ditch, every 100 years you take one hair out, and amount of time it takes to empty this whole pit will be called 1 Palyopam year. And 20 raised to 14 Palyopam years, 10 raised to 14 Palyopam years will make 1 Sagropam years. 10 raised to 14 Sagropam years makes 1 Kroda Krodi Sagropam years. And those kind of 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam year means ultimately, think about huge amount of time. Now, if this whole time that we have it, then in a blink of an eye, if I blink my eye, within that narrow amount of time, which is fraction of second, the innumerable time units pass by. Out of that, when I take 1 time units, it's called Samay. 1 time units. And this 1 time unit in this 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam years of 1 complete time cycle, that first Samay I'm born, then I die or whatever happens, then I just keep on going wandering, and then I take the birth, and now second Samay I take birth, then third Samay and fourth Samay. In succession, when I finish this 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam years, then it becomes 1 Kal Paravartan. It is again huge amount of years, number of time and everything, in which infinite amount of 24 sets of Tirthankara comes, and then they go to Nirvana. So that's Kal Paravartan. And then we have Bhav Paravartan, that 4 realms of existence: infernal self, heavenly soul, humans, and animals. All those, subhuman, I mean. So all these 4 realms of existence, you take the birth in succession. And once you finish that one, then it becomes 1 Bhav Paravartan. And now comes Bhav Paravartan, for which we have to understand this karma bondage theory first. Karma bondage. The types of karma, there are 4 ways karma gets bonded to the soul. First one is a types of karma. Means the karmas are being divided into 8 different types, like for example, knowledge obscuring karma, perception obscuring karma, deluding karma, obstructing karma, age determining karma, filling karma, then species determining karma, and or this type of things, and age determining karma. So there are 8 types of karma are there. So what kind of karma gets attracted to me, that depends on types of karma. That's number 1. Quantity of karma bondage. How many karma gets bonded to myself, means to the soul at a given point. That's a pradesh, prakruti pradesh. Then comes, once the karma gets stuck to me, how long they get stuck to me. That's called sthiti, means duration of karma bondage. Let's say that I become angry right now, and I attracted anger producing karma with me, and they may remain with me for this life, maybe next life, and they may give me fruition in 10 lives from now or 100 lives from now. So it depends on intensity. means, duration, when they will come in the fruition in the future. In the last one is called intensity of karma fruition. When the fruition occurs, how intense this karma will come out with. Will it give me extreme misery, milder form of misery, extreme happiness, milder form of happiness? Well, whatever those things are, that depends on that's a karma intensity. So we'll just go through some of the slide over here to explain this thing a little better. Karma bondage. So first one is called Prakriti, means name of the karma, simply name of the karma. Second is amount of karma bonded to my soul, that's a pradesh. Then time karma will stay with the soul, how long it will go, sthiti. And fourth one is intensity of karma fruition in the future. So there are 4 types are there. Now, out of which first 2, this one and this 2 are having same thing, that they are due to vibratory activity of the soul space point. Soul is made up of innumerable space points. And in this innumerable space point, this space point keeps on shaking, keeps on having vibration. And because of this vibration of this space point of the soul, that is called yoga. This word yoga is very misrepresented. This is the absolute definition of yoga according to Jainism. That will, whenever we say yoga, that's what we have to understand. Yoga means vibratory activity of the space point of the soul. Soul has an innumerable space point, and they keep on vibrating all the time. And that's the reason that one can have particular type of karma bonded, and the amount of particular karma gets bonded. So this vibratory activity called yoga, which is the altered activity of a important attribute in the soul called ayog. The stationary remains, the space point of the soul remaining stationary in nature, that's an original attribute that's called ayog. And it's an altered modification, means vibratory activity. And so this vibratory activity is called yoga. That will be the reason for certain types of karma and amount of karma particle coming to me. Now, think about it. Amount of karma particle, it comes 10 or 100, 1,000 or million, it doesn't make any difference. Why? Because let's say that my shirt is clean right now. It's dry. And I'm going through the dust storm. If you live in a Phoenix, that you will have to pass through a dust storm sometimes in summertime. Lots of dust gets attracted to my soul, my shirt. But so what? What do? I just take the dust out by just touching it, and all the thing, my dust particle will go away. So amount of karma particle getting bonded doesn't mean anything. It can be shaded off very easily. But now if I have, let's see the next 2. If I infatuation also along with that, this infatuation is a cause for my time duration of karma hanging around with me and intensity of fruition hanging around with me at the time of fruition. So how much duration they will remain with me and what intensity they'll give me fruition, those 2 things are determined by the infatuation state. Infatuation state means anger, deceit, ego, greed, inclination of attachment, inclination of aversion, ignorance. All those things are called infatuated state. In the sense, when I project myself in the outside world instead of looking within me, that's called infatuation. When I look at this phone, what do I say? This is my phone. I like it. If my grandkid takes this one, I run after her and I say, give me, because you're going to break it. If she's running away with somebody else's phone, I don't care about it, because the child can break or doesn't break, it doesn't make difference to me. But if it's mine, then that's called infatuation. So anger, deceit, greed, ego, inclination of attachment, inclination of aversion, ignorance, all those states are called infatuation. And because of infatuation, it determines how long the karma will hang around with me and what intensity of the fruition will come to me. So having made this point clear, let's go somewhere, one more thing. There's a whole thing that we are seeing in the form of graph. Now, vibratory active of the soul space point called Yoga Sthan. Vibratory activity of the soul space point means my soul space point is in the vibratory form. In the first Gunsthana, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 13 spiritual development stage, the soul's space point keeps on vibrating. And that is called Yoga Sthan, means simply vibratory activity of the soul space point. That's it. Only Siddha Bhagwan, liberated soul, those who are totally karma free, now they have non-vibration of this space point of the soul, means there is stationary, they are in the stationary phase, and that is called liberated soul, that is called Siddha, that means they don't have yoga. Now, remember, what is this yoga means? Vibratory activity of the soul space point, right? So that is yoga. Now, when this vibratory activity of the soul space point is going on, then on the outside, on the material side, there is a mind, speech, and action of the body occurs. Remember, mind is also matter particles. Speech is matter particles. Physical body is matter particle. So all those three things that we see, man, vachan, kaya. Any giants will just say any kid, yoga means man, vachan, kaya. But that yoga means they are the matter particle occurring as a result of soul's vibratory activity of the space point. So original thing occurs in the soul. When I'm having vibratory activity, then I attract the karma particle with me. If I'm Siddha Bhagwan, if I'm liberated soul, then all the space points are stationary in nature, and because they're stationary in nature, then as a result in the matter particle, there is no mind, no speech, no bodily action, and that's why this soul is free without any karma, and then we call it as a Siddha Bhagwan, or we call it a liberated soul. So that's a vibratory activity. Now, this vibratory activity of the soul space point determines amount of karma and type of karma coming to the soul. That's it. Now second thing, soul's inclination of toxic emotions, passions, kashai, toxic emotions in relation to the karma duration, means on this side, karma is decided to hang around with my soul for, let's say, 10,000 years. Means it is going to remain dormant state for 10,000 years, and then it will come in fruition. Or it may come into existence after one sagarapam years. So karma that I bind today, it may come in the future fruition, and they remain dormant. And that's why lots of people will ask question. This couple of days back, I met one guy. We are talking. He said, "How come there are people doing worst possible things? They may be killing people. They may be having all the wrong thing they do. Then all those things they do. How come they have the best things happen to their life? That they have a perfect body, they have no disease, and they have lots of material wealth and everything." Because whatever I'm doing right now, the karma comes, hangs around in dormancy, and it will come in fruition many years back, thousands and thousands and thousands years down the road. So if, let's say in the past, I did extremely good job, I was a very pious person, and as a result, the fruition of the karma is occurring now, and as a result, I have all the favorable surrounding happens to me. Well, I have a good family, I have a good job, I have a good retirement, I have good health and everything. And if I'm misusing those kind of things right now, then I'm bonding new sets of karma that may come in fruition in a 10,000 years down the road, 100,000 years down the road, infinite number of years down the road. So this duration, whatever my toxic emotions are there, accordingly the duration of karma can get stuck to me. Highest amount of karma duration can go with the infatuated type of karma. They can go up to 70 sagropam years, 70 sagropam years. So, it is a long time it can remain in dormancy. Why? How? Because there is soul's inclination of toxic emotions in certain way. And that decides the duration of karma. Same soul's inclination of toxic emotion in relation to karma intensity of fruition means I'm becoming angry right now, and I'm in an intense form of anger. That means duration of karma bondage is decided, and intensity of karma fruition is decided, and those are the things decided. So now 3 things happens at a given moment. My space point of my soul having vibratory activity, and I have toxic emotions, and these 2 things, previous slide, these 2 things, toxic emotions, that's an infatuation, and vibratory activity of the soul, yoga. 2 things will decide types of karma coming, amount of karma getting stuck to me, duration of karma, intensity of karma. Having this point clear now, this is called inclination of my inclination, soul's inclination. Let's see what's the next slide shows. This is the same thing described. Okay, now let's go this same slide here. Now, this yoga sthan, vibratory activity, you take 0.1, and at that time, what is my toxic emotions in relation to duration, and what's my toxic emotions in terms of karma fruition? There also we take their 1 intensity, these also 1 intensity, and so once that finishes, that's number 1. Then the intensity, vibratory activity of the space point remains as number 1, but this is number 2, this is number 2, then this is 1, 3, like this vibratory activity comes to the max number. Then we start with this one and this one. So in this situation, in this way, the cycle of intentions, they occur. This is the longest possible cycle occurs in this intention, because the permutation combination of all these 3 things are extremely billions and billions and trillions of things can happen. And so this is the way we are, me and you and some of the transmigratory soul keeps on wandering in the universe all the time. The idea over here, it says that wandering occurs for time infinite, and because it's occurring from time infinite, it has become my second nature. The child in the small child needs to be directed that, you should take a proper protein, proper carbohydrate, proper fat, you should do exercise and everything. And once you teach this child this thing, in beginning it's kind of a little bit difficult to do it, but thereafter it becomes second nature for this child, and then the same kind of ideas will persist in the adulthood, and older age and things like that. So things could be difficult to start with, and thereafter it becomes second nature. The first day when we go to work, what happens? It is difficult. How I'm going to do work? I know all the things, but I still do interact with the people. I don't know who are those people. And it is kind of difficult. But once I know them very well, then I work kind of subcortical level, because it's my second nature, it happens. So that's why, because all these things are going on since time infinite in the past, that it has become my second nature, and I have forgotten that my true nature is to be within, to look within. That part I have forgotten. So this is the thought. This one we already talked about it. Now we are going. This one we can just skip this slide. So universal monarch is ruling everywhere. In the sense, Chakravarti is a ruler of the Bharat Khand, for example, Bharat Kshetra. Now, wrong faith person rules everywhere. Just like the universal monarch is ruling everywhere, wrong faith person rules everywhere. Means wherever we go, we end up meeting with this wrong faith person. That includes all of us right now. Even when one is monk, listen, simply becoming monk means nothing. Even if he's monk but has not obtained right faith, then he is also wandering in the four realms of existence, just like any other living being. Now, wrong faith person is lifting unnecessary burden, just like bull lifting heavy weights. We carry all unnecessary burden of this karma for no reason for time infinite. That because he's carrying this heavy weight so long, so duration wise, that he thinks that, well, I have to withstand this suffering because I'm the living one, I'm the living being. That kind of wrong notion he has created in his mind. Wrongfully he believes that he must do auspicious activity to obtain liberation. This is his biggest mistake. Remember, the word believes is very important, because what he said, okay, I'll do the fasting today, not for today, I'll do for 3 days, not for 3 days, I'll do for 1 month, I'll do for 45 days, all kind of things, fasting, and I'll just do the going to temple, and I'll give the charity and everything, anonymous charity, all this kind of auspicious activity I do. It's okay to do it, but that's not my end. They are kind of means to progress further. But wrong faith person believes that this is the thing is going to lead me to the liberation. That's his wrong mistake, and that's why he keeps on wandering in the 4 realms of existence since time infinite. And he believes that first he must look for the instrumental cause to perform his action. Remember, I want to speak. I said, well, when the audience comes, then I'll speak. Means somebody is there, then I will act. No, when I start acting, somebody may or may not be there. It is my independent act occur with me only. That kind of understanding, I should have to have it. Let me slow close this, guys. Okay. Now, with wrong faith, now there is an intense desire occurs. Because remember, I want it, I want it, I want it, an extreme desire. Desire makes one perplexed. Now, let's say that I have a desire to take a new car. Which car should I take it? Mercedes, BMW, Audi, what can I buy it? So it gives me kind of disturbance of my mind and everything. And so this desire gives the problem with perplexity with me. Fire of desire makes him burn, and this also includes auspicious inclination. So this desires, wrong faith, and auspicious inclinations are good for me, that kind of belief, and that is also wrong. It is going to make me burn. Now, One may physically be physically healthy, but if believes that auspicious inclination will lead to the right fate, then he's suffering from internal disease of wrong faith. Again and again and again, Gurudev Kanji Swami will hit this point so strongly, so heavily, telling us that my faith needs to be changed. He doesn't say that don't do good things. Obviously, it is pretty well understood. Nobody gives a message to do the bad thing. But if I'm not doing bad thing, can I do good things? And so I'll serve the humanity and everything. Do it. Nothing wrong with that. You have money. You can do charity work. You're a physician. You can go to Nepal and help those suffering of the people. Do it. But that is going to be helping me to obtain right faith is a wrong judgment on my part. Nobody says don't do right thing, don't do good things. Everybody says do good to your neighbor, do good to your society, do good to your nation, do good to this universe. Be friendly with all the living beings of the universe. Do it. But by doing that way, I'm on the right path. That's a wrong belief I have it. Because what will happen? Worst come to worst, when I'm doing good to the whole nation or the universe or whatever, then best thing I'll get is auspicious karma getting stuck to me. Those auspicious karma will come in fruition in the future, and so this cycle will keep on repeating again and again. So those are the things that your belief is to be changed. The internal disease produces burning sensation to the soul. How is it possible to become disease-free with having disease? When I'm doing auspicious thing, then I get stuck with the auspicious karma, and karma makes me wander in this universe continuously. So how can they be helpful to me to become disease-free? Not necessarily. It doesn't happen. Now, to achieve divinity, one does not need inclination of attachment's help. I want to achieve divinity, and that is within me. To look within myself, I don't need any inclination of attachment's help. Yes, it's a fact that inclination of attachment is present in the mode of transmigratory soul. In my mode, I'm the transmigratory soul. So I want to stay away from negative inclinations. I want to stay away from inclination of aversion. And so I perform inclination of attachment type of activity. But my knowledge mode simply knows the state that yes, I'm in the inclination of attachment phase. My knowledge mode simply knows that one. One knows that this mode belongs to him, but also knows that this produces perplexity. I'm doing inclination of attachment. I'm doing auspicious deed and everything, but I'm also aware of it that this auspicious deed that I'm performing is also giving karma bondage, which leads to perplexity. So that is not my true form. True form will be to look within, experience my true nature of the self, and all this inclination slowly subsides, cool down, disappears, and I become karma free. I become inclination free, and that is the liberation that I'm looking for. Now, this gives the definition of Jainism, what Jain means. Jain means it is not a particular group of people are called Jain. Anybody in this universe could be Jain, as long as one who follows the discourses of the Omniscient Lord. Number one, it says that one must draw his attention to the innate nature of the eternal self. Means Omniscient Lord tells me that, hey, you know what? You want to have peace of mind? Look within. Once you look within, then your innate nature is there, and you will have a super senses bliss will come from within to you. If one believes that inclination of attachment is helpful to him, then he is not a Jain. And this state does not produce supersensuous bliss, it produces misery only. If I'm in the inclination of attachment phase, then it produces only misery and does not produce supersensuous bliss. Supersensuous bliss comes only by drawing attention to the innate nature of the eternal self. So this is what, if I'm doing that, if one is doing it anywhere in the world, anywhere in the universe, then he's called quote unquote Jain. So Jain doesn't mean that one who is just going to temple and puts the yellow tika on the forehead and everything. No. Jain means the one who has decided not to be in the inclination of attachment and aversion, and to redirect his attention to the innate nature of the self. That's called true Jain. Now, reflective thoughts are not nature of the right faith. Now, right now, the author takes little turn, and just now he drives us deeper and deeper and deeper, very gradually. This is the way Kunkun Swami has done, is pulling you within, pulling you deep within, so much deep within that there is no way to come out, because it is just getting me to know the true self. So reflective thought means what? Reflective thought means just simply thoughts. I close my eye and I just can think, what's happening? Well, summer is coming, so day is becoming long. So did I change my timers on my front yard and backyard lights? Oh, thinking about front yard and backyard lights, some lights are blown out, or so I have to go and buy it. When I'm going to buy it, maybe should I buy a dozen? And all kind of thought process, one lead to other, to the third, to fourth, to fifth, and everything. And they are called reflective thoughts. Now, even 8 pillars of right faith are in the form of division, and only togetherness of these 8 pillars constitute right faith. Remember, we went for about 3 or 4 sessions on 8 pillars of the right faith. Individual pillar that we talked about, Nishankit, Nikankshit, Nirvichikitsa, Amur, Upaguhan, Sthitikaran, and all those 8 pillars, if we talk separately, then it's called reflective thought. But if we just consider them at one big unit of my soul, and if I see that way, then I don't have reflective thought, but I'm just going within myself. Now he's also throwing new thing over here. Conventional point of view for karma and their effect on the soul is called agam no vyavahar. Conventional point of view for the karma and the effect on the soul. That's the one point. And the next column says conventional point of view from purity of consciousness. So here is a karma related thing. Here is purity related thing, purity of consciousness related thing. It's called adhyatma. This is called agam. Now, what happens in a karma related thing? There is auspicious inclination of the soul occurs. Inauspicious inclination of the soul occurs. Anger, deceit, ego, pride, inclination of attachment, inclination of aversion, all those things occurs in this phase when I'm related everything to karma. But over here, when I'm looking for a purity perspective, then one takes refuge in the innate nature of the eternal soul substance, and thereby produces right faith mode. I directed my attention over here. The attention is drawn to the karma. Outside material thing is karma. Over here, attention is drawn to the purity of the consciousness, or it is the true eternal soul substance, and thereby it produces right faith. Over here, it produces wrong faith. This produces right faith. It's very easy. Now author says it's very easy for transmigratory soul, as he has done this since time infinite. Remember this Panch Paravartan, 5 phase of cycle we talked about, means infinite amount of time passed by, and I keep on drawing my attention to outside world, drawing my attention to my body, drawing my attention to karma. And because of that thing, it has become my second nature, and I just said, so what? I have to do it, right? Somebody's pulling my leg, so I have to become angry, right? No, that's not true over here. It says, because one has not done this kind of thing, in the sense he has not seen the eternal true nature of the soul substance, he has not taken refuge there, so it appears to be difficult to him. But remember, the small matter particle of sugar, it has no consciousness, no intelligence, but still that sugar knows that it has to give sweet taste no matter what. And here I am with the consciousness nature, and with that consciousness nature, rather than staying in my own pure nature, I just direct my attention to the outside material thing. Means I just depend myself on the karma, and that's a kind of a wrong thing that I'm doing, because I'm doing for time infinite, so it becomes easy. I have not seen myself, so it appears to be difficult. But Acharya Bhagwan says, look within, son, you can get the experience. It's not that difficult. Having said that, in the past I have known the nature of eternal pure soul substance, but was in the form of retention of knowledge perspective. Remember, right now we are talking about what's a soul, why I'm directing my attention to the outside world, what should I do? I should redirect attention to my pure nature. All these things I know from my knowledge perspective, from brain perspective, but I knew the fact in the reflective thought process only, and never did discrimination between the reflective thought and eternal true nature of the self. And that's my problem. I gather the information, but I don't act on it. I know everything about it, but when the things comes to look within, I just fall back and I say, oh, no, I can't do it. I'm very weak. No, that's not true. Therefore, he has never experienced innate nature of the self. He is only in reflective thought process, and the innate nature of the experience, that means it's a primary abstract comprehension, means there is no reflective thought. It's simply experiencing the self. That I have to do it, which I have not gone from this step, I have not gone next particular step. That's only the thing I have to do it. Since time infinite, I kept on doing all this thing about thing, but I did not do this last thing. Anyway, so initial knowledge of soul comes from reading, listening about the scripture, etc., etc. This produces discriminated knowledge, which is mixed with inclination of attachment. It's not true serene knowledge. It's not quite experiencing phase of knowledge. It is just thought process I have gathered all the information with me. Eternal innate nature of the soul's experiences with super and full of consciousness. So when I experience myself, there's no perplexity. It just simply supersensuous bliss and full of consciousness that I'll be experiencing. That's what it's a true nature. And it's free from all the ordered states, all the reflective states, and it is my primary abstract comprehension. That's what I want to achieve. So I need to do reading, listening to the scripture, and I had to progress further, but I just do the reading and listening, and then I get stuck there and does not progress further. That's my weakness. How is the soul substance? The Acharya Bhagwan says, it's eternally and internally illuminating and expressing self. It's full of bright light of consciousness, lump of coolness of passion-free state, and is illuminating from within and is experienced without the help of five senses and mind. Remember, one should remember that I want to experience my soul. That means I'll be beyond my senses. I'll be beyond my intellect. I'll be just engrossed within myself. It will be primary abstract comprehensive state which is without any reflective thoughts. For example, let's say that I'm very, very tired right now. I want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. I keep on repeating, lying down in the bed. That's my reflective thought. I must go to sleep. I must go to sleep. I will never go to sleep if I keep on repeating that one. But I want to go to sleep. 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 And pretty soon I end up going to sleep, and these reflective thoughts gradually diminish in intensity, and then I end up going to sleep. Similarly, when I gather all the informations, then I know what's my true nature. I would like to obtain my true nature. I would like to obtain my true nature. I would like to go within. I would like to go within. And one fine, important moment, or one auspicious moment, I'll be entering into the experiencing phase. This is what Acharya Bhagavan tells us to do all the time. One who believes that he has unity with inclination of attachment is known as one without spiritual knowledge, because he is always having unity with the outside material thing. Eternal innate form is present but unable to experience. Remember, my eternal form is always there, always there, always there, since time infinite. Only thing, I have not looked at it. I have money in the bank. I have a $10 million sitting in a bank, but I'm unaware of it, that they are mine. They are on my name, it's there. I'm not aware of it. The moment I become aware of it, I just say, oh yeah, I'm the millionaire. But when I'm not looking at that fact, when I'm not aware of it, then I'm a very poor guy. I just do the menial job and everything. So I had the money, but still I do the menial job. I have my own true nature of the self continuously staying with me since time infinite. I'm looking outside. That's why I'm suffering. He has not shown the enlightened one. Enlightened one has shown the pathway to experience the innate form of eternal soul substance. Here comes the Guru. Guru gives me directions because he has experienced his true self. So he says, please follow this kind of things and you will be able to obtain the true nature of the self. But I don't listen to him. I question him. I just say he's not a true person. He's trying to cheat me and everything. All kind of crazy thing I think about. When I put this message into my life, then I then will experience the innate nature of the self. That's why there is need for Guru. But that Guru could be in the form of scriptural writing or a physical person. But when I'm ready, all those things are available in front of me and I can do it. This will be my homage to the enlightened one. In the sense, enlightened one tells me, hey, this is the way to go for it. This is the way to experience the self. If you walk on this pathway, you'll be very happy. He tells me those things. If I do it, then enlightened one will be happy. If I don't do it, he won't be unhappy. He just has kind of compassion for me and says, you know what? I hope this guy also gets an enlightenment somewhere in the future. That's all he will say with a compassion nature. So one must serve his Guru. What does it mean? It means Guru has shown me the pathway to experience the innate nature of the soul. He showed me the pathway. Guru means Guru or the Holy Scriptures. When I do get the experience of my innate nature, then I have served my Guru, I have served my Scripture, I have served my omniscient Lord. So these are the things that I have to do. If I still believe contrary to this, Guru has shown me the pathway, Scriptures has shown me the pathway, omniscient Lords have shown me the pathway, and still I'm believing contrary, that means I have not served any of those entities which are great for me. This is what seva comes. Just don't worry about that part. If we can just go quickly that one, you can just review yourself. Simple thing is there. I did hear the message. Now I'm listening to the message. I'm listening to the message. Listening to the message means I heard it and implemented it. and as a result, I experience my true nature, that means I really, really, really heard the message. One must take this attention, and one must take his attention away from the modal perspective and concentrate on the eternal true nature of the soul. Remember, soul as a substance which is eternally there present, and soul also has modification occurring every moment. One modification occurs, arises, and it goes out. Second modification comes, goes away. Third modification comes and goes away. Now, these are transitory. This modal modification is transitory in nature, but my eternal self is forever. So, if I take my attention away from this modification phase and I draw my attention to the eternal true nature of the soul, then I get the experiencing of the true nature. This is the central theme in Samaysar. It will keep on coming, it will keep on coming, it will keep on coming till it will become second nature for me. That even in the sleep, somebody says, who am I? Well, I'm the eternal true nature of the soul. That kind of things that Kun Swami is going to work on us. This is the essence of all 12 canons of the original scripture. All 12 canons, they are huge in numbers. I mean, we can just go through numbers exactly what each canon means. But though the original scripture and there are amazing amount of information is there, but all this information tells you one thing and one thing and one thing only, that you experience your true nature of the self. If you experience, that means you digested all these 12 canons and you don't need to read those things. No problem, nothing to worry about. But because I have not experienced, so I kept on reading and listening, and from that thing I built up myself and try to go within. This is a message of all my enlightened true teachers. That's what they keep on telling me. The true enlightened monks, true enlightened teachers, Holy Scripture, and Omniscient Lord, they all tells me the same meaning, means experience yourself, go within, take your attention away from the modal perspective, take your attention away from the alien object, look within. That's all the central point is there. Due to mere ignorance, living being never implemented the Omniscient Lord's preaching. Since time infinite, he had unity with influence of attachment and thereby with reflective thoughts. That means self-realization did not occur to him. With discriminative science, one experiences soul. Means, discriminative science means, I know right now my true nature is within me and everything else is separate from me. So I separate myself from all the associated alien objects and go within. That's called discriminative science. This enlightenment state is difficult for him to obtain because he has never looked that side. He always worked as a poor guy, even though he is having millions of dollars sitting on his name in the bank, but he doesn't know that one. I am the one full of infinite amount of pure attributes within me. I have never looked at it. That's why I'm very, very unhappy. Enlightened monks, they show me the pathway. They just hold my hand. They say, look within. Son, you look within. You will be happy. It's a really most important thing that you can do in this life. Human being, 5 senses, with mind, and I'm capable of thinking right from wrong. And then I can discriminate who is the enlightened true monks or teacher for me. All these things are in my favor. I put my heart into it. I can obtain absolute right faith for no question about it. If one walks on this pathway, then surely he will attain self-realization. Now comes Bhavarth. Bhavarth means further explanation. Means it is basically summarizes basically what we talked so far. So we can probably almost time. We have 5 minutes about. Give me 5 more minutes and we'll just finish this one. So we'll finish this fourth stanza here. What it says, in cosmic space, transmigrated soul is wandering since time infinite with his auspicious, inauspicious inclination, which I'm doing it. He keeps on wandering in the 5 kinds of cycle of wandering for time infinite. We already talked about it. They are the names of those five cycles. A cycle of change of matter, space, time, incarnation, and thoughts. So I keep on going in this transmigratory cycle. Then, since time infinite, wrong belief type of ghost has put the harness on the neck of the mundane being. He keeps on performing tedious work from mundane existence. Initially, it needs some force to put the harness, but then it becomes second nature for the bull to keep on working. Young one needs to be forced to come to business. Suppose, you have a big business, and your young one is kind of, not interested. So you force him to come, but ultimately it will become second nature for him to work. Same way here, that because it has become second nature for me to be in the inclination of attachment phase, that I forgot what's my true nature. Living being is engrossed in his useless work of mundane existence. He wrongly thinks he can improve everybody. I cannot change anybody, anywhere, anytime. Wrong belief makes him feel to be having doership of alien objects. Alien objects, I did something to you. You did something to me. My kids did something to me. I did something, all those doership that I have for alien object is wrong thing. Doership makes him having burning sensation of desire. This passion leads him to the mundane existence and wrongfully believes the treatment to be the enjoyment of worldly sensual pleasure. In fact, these desires make him burning intensely. And this is the last slide coming. And last slide says, what does it say here? Let me take this thing. Oh, okay. Transmigrated soul has never heard the story of the eternal true nature. And this self is entirely separate from all living belonging of the universe. He did not realize the true nature of the self. He did not follow the advice given by enlightened monks. Guru told him to know, get intimacy, and to experience the innate form. The Guru doesn't want anything. He doesn't need any money. He doesn't need for me to provide him comfort and everything. He simply says that you, as a mundane soul, know, get intimacy to the soul, and experience the innate form. That's all his wish. As he has not experienced the innate nature of self, as he has not heard the story of the eternal self. I have not heard the story of eternal self because I have not experienced myself within. Therefore, it's difficult for him to attain this eternal innate state. So why it's difficult for me? Because for time infinite, I have kept my attention to outside world. So those are the things that this stanza says to us. And we will just basically, overall, if we just look at it, that it says, by saying those 5 phases of hanging around the transmigration, that I'm hanging around since time infinite. And because of that thing, it becomes second nature for me to do inclination of attachment and aversion. That means I forgot my true nature. Enlightened monks tells me, look within, and you'll get happiness. That's the crux of this 4th stanza. We will just, we can just go through question answers. If anybody has any questions, we can just entertain those questions. Let me put everything on right now.
Uncle, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I want to take an example so that I want to see if I understand the concept correctly.
Yes.
Let's say that in my daily life, I've done something to really upset Preeti, and Preeti is angry with me.
Yeah.
So in my thought process, in my reflective thought, I say to myself, I'm not going to respond in anger. My true nature is the knower.
Yes.
Because I'm the knower, then I will be at peace just being that knower.
Yes.
But My issue is this. I'm still in my reflective thought as I'm saying these things in my own mind. I am not in that experiential state yet, right?
Yes.
So is it just because this is such a routine that we've gotten used to that it's not in the experiential phase, but I do need to keep saying that to myself? Is that the way it works?
We got it. We are climbing the ladder. Remember, we are climbing the spiritual ladder. And on that spiritual ladder, first I was doing wrong thing all the time continuously. Now I just stopped for a while and I said, you know what? This is not my true nature. My true nature has to be at least not to do wrong. Not to do wrong means I'll try to do something positive for the humanity at large. Okay, you do that, but it should become second nature for you. Well, you know, I'm doing humanity work and I'm the newspaper and a TV station and radio and everything, and the whole world knows me that I'm greatest of the. No, that kind of feeling I should not have it. I should do the auspicious deeds by second nature. For example, I woke up in the morning, I did I went to the bathroom, I did toothbrush, I took a shower, I did my daily prayer and everything, I took my breakfast, I went to work. All these things are happening reflexly. Nobody has to remind me. I don't have to say, oh, do I have to go to the bathroom now? Oh, is it time for my breakfast? No, it becomes so reflexly, you just do the subconscious level. Same thing. When I do the auspicious activities like this, it should go kind of subconscious level. Yeah, it is happening. It's happening. I'm not performing. Now, when you do this, your anger, deceit, ego, greed kind of becomes less and less and less intense. And when they are less intense, now you are able to grab your knowledge a lot faster and a lot deeper. Now, again, it's a reflective thoughts. Now I understand the reality and my nature of the soul. Then I should say, I want to be myself only. I want to be myself only. And that reflection I keep on doing, that kind of deep reflection I keep on doing, and my thought process becomes calmer, cooler, and slower. And ultimately, I go for the experiencing phase. So what you are telling that I'm in reflective thought with a positive thinking, that's a possible step towards the ultimate liberation. But until, let's say, you left your home, you're coming to my home. When you left, when you went to airport, then you just said, hey, I'm in Phoenix. But you're not in Phoenix. Okay, you landed in Phoenix. You're still not at my home. You came, you drove, you came to my home, you pressed the bell. Now you put foot in my house, and that is really at the time you really all the previous activities were leading to come to my home. Anyway, you can change your attitude in between, and you are not coming to my home. You started there, but your flight got delayed, flight got diverted, and you end up going to Florida instead of coming to Arizona. So those are the things that we have to keep in mind. These are the steps will come, but I don't want to hang around with those steps. I want to keep going further, you know. That's very good thought that you have it. That's very good, you know. Okay, any more questions? Okay, if not, then we can stop over here and we do the closing. Sarva Mangala Mangalyam Sarva Kalyana Karakam Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam Jainam Jaitu Sasanam Jainam Jaitu Sasanam Jinvani ke dan se sujhe lokalo Sovani Mastaka Namo Sada Deta Hota. Now, Namuka mantra. Jai Jinendra, everybody.
Jai Jinendra.
Yeah.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. We'll meet next week. Okay.